It is time for the final week of the Amazing Readathon. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is 4 Paws in a Book. I make bookish videos over here on my little corner of the internet, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Today it is the final week of the Amazing Readathon. We have 8 days left, we have 3 legs left, so it's crunch time. It is time to get those reads in, and at the end of this I will be announcing the placements of the Amazing Readathon, so you want to stay tuned for that. Last night I dropped the prompt super late for the 8th leg. We are headed off to Bangkok, Thailand, and I did spin the wheel last night. I just didn't start the vlog because I didn't have any makeup on or anything like that, and I didn't want to, my lights weren't up. It's fine. So I landed on my pick, and that meant that I could pick whatever team I wanted to. And knowing what the prompt was and also knowing the prompt of future legs, I went ahead and chose Team Fiction. This may not have been the best idea because I know that the next prompt might be a little bit more difficult for sci-fi. So at least like to be able to have 3 options, but it's fine. We went with fiction. I should have gone with sci-fi, but we went with fiction. And I put my poll up so that my patrons could choose, and then I would start the book this morning. I did it with emojis, so that way we had no idea which one the book was. So the prompt is to read a book with at least 5 colors on the cover, and I stretched it. Like, you could do shades of different colors, it would be fine. So this is definitely one of the easier prompts, but I found 3 that I think would work. So Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. This has a ton of colors on it, a very colorful cover about a man who has a genetic mutation. It's basically this society where instead of getting like diseases like cancer, they have diseases like a mutation where you turn into a great white shark. And this is like a couple's journey through that diagnosis and that mutation. It was a book of the month, like book of the year finalist, I think, last year, so I was able to get it for free. And it's not a book that like I would typically pick up, but this is a great opportunity for that. Then we have a Winterland by Ray Meadows. This I think is about like the Russian ballet ? Soviet Union, 1973. Oh, nope, gymnastics. I thought it was ballet, but gymnastics. That actually makes me more excited for it, maybe. And then we have An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole. This is a historical that takes place in 1861. Elle Burns, a former slave with a passion for justice. Civil war rages between the states. A courageous pair of spies plunges fearlessly into a maelstrom of ignorance, deceit, and danger, combining their unique skills to alter the course of history and shatter the chains of the past in this powerful, sweeping tale. I love Alyssa Cole's writing. I've read several books from her, but it's the historical that I have not gotten to yet. These are the 3 options that we have. I definitely thought that this was ballet, so I did a ballet slipper for this one, I did the shark for this one, and then I did a flower for this one because it's got the little pink flowers on it. So the winner of this was the Shark Heart, and I am about 15% of the way through this. I was listening to it this morning, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's got a lot, very short chapters, very like stream of consciousness kind of going on between this man and his wife, and it's kind of going back and forth from like their wedding and like how they met and all this stuff, and then also like this present day where they are dealing with the diagnosis and like just coming to terms with that. Obviously like not major change, like major changes have not happened yet, but it's an interesting look at like relationships and what happens in the like sense of a catastrophic diagnosis. So this is what I'm reading right now. Other than that, I don't know. We might choose this as a sightseeing prompt. I haven't looked. We're gonna do a 400-point sightseeing prompt. I just don't know what I have left. But now I'm more interested in this now that I knew it was gymnastics. I feel like I used to know that, but who knows. This is actually not a very long audiobook despite it being like pretty chunky. Like it's 403, 404 pages, something like that. But they're, like I said, they're very short chapters, and like sometimes that is a page. So the audiobook is only like 8.5 hours. So theoretically I will finish it today. However, I have a lot of editing that I need to do, so I'm not sure. And I still need to film. See, the thing is that like content has to go up on my channel outside of Amazing Readathon stuff, especially as we were coming to the end of Amazing Readathon. So I've been filming a lot today. I have 1 more video to film, and then I can start editing and stuff. But just wanted to check in, just wanted to start this vlog, and I'll see you later. Like the way she smiles, she got me staring for a while, got me staring for a while, yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's our conversation, she's my favorite notification. She knows how to dress for special occasions. She got me thinking life could be better. These songs start to feel like
hello, it's Monday evening. I just got done at the Christina Lauren signing event for Tangled Up in You. Got it signed and everything. Look at this, like this really cute art for it. This is part of the series, the Meant to Be series that Disney puts out. So this is the Rapunzel. That's neither here nor there though. I wanted to update you on some books. I finished Shark Heart this morning. I think I'm giving it 3.5 stars. I think the concept of this book is really interesting and I think it definitely has an audience. I like the metaphor of this like couple coming to terms with a catastrophic diagnosis, in this case the diagnosis being that he's turning into a shark, but it's very much a metaphor for a cancer diagnosis or, you know, Alzheimer's or something like that, where you are slowly losing the person that you love. And I really liked that metaphor. However, I don't think that this book went deep enough. I think that the characters tended to be really surface level. They tended to not really dive into the emotions, and I think the author really could have done that. This is a debut, so I can kind of see that the author was kind of tiptoeing around some aspects. However, I think the book would have just been so much stronger if she would have just dove headfirst into those difficult topics, into the conversations at therapy and the just the discussions of both the person having that gets the diagnosis and also his wife. The first year of marriage and you get this diagnosis, you kind of find out more about her, the wife, and her history with this mutation as we go along in the book. And I just I don't know, I just wish we would have seen more emotion. So yeah, 3.5 stars. The concept, A+, but the execution really lacked. So that's a bummer. So I decided to pick up a Winterland. I don't remember the author of this, but this one was one of the options for my Patreon poll. And so I had gotten the audiobook from Libby. And so I was like, well, why not? I might as well. I think that I listened to the prologue and chapter 1 at first and I was just this is okay. I'm not sure if this is going to be great, but now I've gotten to chapter 5. I listened to it the entire way home. I'm kind of obsessed. Here's the thing. I am weirdly obsessed with the dark side of sports, and there is nothing darker than Soviet era gymnastics. That was a messed up time period, and this is definitely showing that. She's a little girl that gets chosen from a school to go and train and become part of the national team for the Soviets, and trying to do all of this work and train for her country, for pride, and carrying the country's weight on her shoulders as a 10-year-old or whatever she is. And it's just it's so sad. But yeah, enjoy is the wrong word because this is dark and scary, and you're very much in the head of this child, as she is navigating this difficult time in her life, but not knowing who to trust, not knowing who not to trust. A coach should be someone you do trust, but obviously they don't always have your best interest, because they're sometimes terrible people. That's just the nature of things. Yeah, I'm on chapter 5 now, which is 16%. So theoretically I will be able to finish it tomorrow. That is the idea. We will see what happens though. That's pretty much all I have to talk to you about. I just wanted to do this update before I went in, and it was craziness. I figured I would just do a car update, even though I'm sitting in my driveway. Hello everybody, happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday afternoon, or evening almost. God, it's almost 5 o'clock. Yesterday ended up being a much busier day than I had anticipated. I had less ability to read or listen to a book while I was working than I had originally anticipated. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish Winterland. I still had I think 7 hours left of the audiobook. Maybe I don't know, 6 on my listening speed. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. Because while the audiobook, the narrator is really good and has a Russian accent to their narration and has different voices for the different characters, that also means I have to slow it down a little bit. So anyways, I knew I wouldn't be able to do that. So I actually ended up picking up Blackout. This is an anthology, like a contemporary anthology. They're all connected, but they're all like their own stories, but all happening kind of cohesively at the same time. This was a 3-star for me. I did finish it last night. It was 3 stars. It's YA. I think it has a lot to say, and I think that had I been a teenager, this would have been great. Because I think there's a lot of discussion about like in the midst of like obviously like a blackout in New York City, there's also like characters that are like, oh, you know, like finding, like realizing you're queer, realizing that the girl that you've been friends with for the half of your life, you know, is cute, and you have a crush on her, and you have a first kiss in the dark. So it's got a lot of like stories like that. Because it was so like, it was short stories, we didn't have anything like, we didn't dive in. It's basically like having a book where you have a ton of characters. We didn't get like deep enough into anything. So 3 stars. This morning we dropped a new prompt. So we're going to Auckland, New Zealand. I did spin, so spinner wheel here. I landed on spooky. So reading for spooky this time. I did the poll. So I actually did like the Statue of Liberty for this. I don't even actually know that it is New York. I think it is. But there's water on the cover, like there's like the harbor. So that was the Statue of Liberty. I don't know. I wasn't looking at the covers when I did this. And then The Vacation by John Mars. I really want to read a John Mars book this month. And then The Merry Spinster, which was a mermaid. And this one is the one that won. I actually already finished it. So I don't know why that's still in there. But this is the one that won. It's very short. It was only 190 pages. But that's okay. I already finished it, which is great. Because today was a much quieter day. I had 2 meetings, but other than that, I was listening to this audiobook, and it was only like 5 hours or something like that. This is also a short story collection. It's kind of a collection of folktale or like fairy tales. There's the Beauty and the Beast. There's a Little Mermaid. There's a like Frog and Toad kind of story. Mole and Toad, actually. A, very queer, and B, like little haunting, little off-kilter, for one reason or another. I gave this 3.5 stars. I think maybe I'm too dumb for this book, but I feel like fairy tales have always had like a lesson, a point, a reason why they're being told, what you're supposed to be telling the audience, right? And I feel like there were some that the story, the lesson was just not clear. I really liked the interpretation of the fairy tales, but I just don't like, I didn't understand the point of some of them. There were some that were like really, really good, and then some that were just like, okay, that was fine. And here's the thing, a short story collection or an anthology is never going to be highly rated, in my opinion, because there will be some that you really like and some that you just don't. So 3.5 stars. So then I was like, I want to read John Mars, okay? I want to. I've only read The Passengers, so I read it out of order. You're supposed to read the one first. And I think I want to go back and reread The Passengers, because when I read it, I was in very much a life slump and nothing was sounding good, so I only gave it 3 stars, but then everybody else started reading it. This was like, I read it years and years ago, and then everybody else started reading it, and like, it's the best book ever. So I'm like, what did I miss? So I think I want to go back and reread them, but I want to start with the one. So that's what we're going to do tonight. I don't own that one physically yet, but if I like it, I will. Because I feel like he is an author that I will potentially like. Plus, he's a queer author, so we'll get bonus points. And since I didn't do a very big book for the city prompt, we probably will get in a couple of sightseeing prompts if possible. The next prompt isn't dropping until Friday night, so I have 2 full work days, and I think the one is an 11-hour audiobook, if I remember correctly. So won't finish it tonight, but we'll get a good chunk of it done. I'm gonna jump onto sprints with Kara here in a little bit, and then tomorrow night I have Patreon sprints. So, you know, I've got lots of reading time. But anyways, that's my update for right now. It's been a busy day, but it's been like productive, and it's been kind of just me on my own. I haven't had too much to do where like I couldn't just listen to an audiobook. So anyways, I am going to jump off here, jump on sprints, and we will get the ball rolling. Hello, it's Saturday afternoon. It has been a couple of days since I've talked to you, but I've been busy. And also I've been tired. I had like a work thing yesterday, and so I didn't get a chance to vlog. And you're also gonna hear the lawnmower because Derek's mowing outside. I look like a hot mess. I need to go put makeup on and change. I've been working outside most of today, but I have sprints starting in 45 minutes for Boozy Book Club. But I want to talk to you. Also, there's an air show going on at the air base, so probably gonna hear planes too. It's just not a good day. I can't film anything today because like I need to film stuff for my channel and I can't because of the air show. So I guess it's all gonna happen tomorrow morning before sprints. So I need to go put some makeup on and probably change a little bit. But I've been like doing weeding and yard work and stuff. So let's chat about where we finished, because I finished The One by John Mars Thursday night after Patreon sprints, and I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I was worried about this one. Like, I really liked the concept of it, but I was feeling like it was less of a thriller and more of a like just a social commentary, which is what John Mars does. But the pacing was a little bit weird because there were so many different people that we were following. In fact, if you like The One, I think you'll like The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. It's less thrilling, more social experiment. Because once we got to like the 70% mark, we really started ramping up the thriller aspect of it. And it was like this one instance, this one event or thing that was happening in everyone's life impacted them in so many different ways, and so like such different things were happening all because of this one dating app. And it was just such an interesting, I mean, I love social commentary books, so now I want to read all of John Mars, because I don't know if like that's all he's done, but The One and The Passengers. But I'm glad that I got to read a John Mars book during this this readathon. We're now on to our 10th leg, the final leg of the Amazing Readathon 2024, and we are going back to Los Angeles. I like that I started round 1 in the United States and then I'm ending round 2 in the United States. This was a prompt that somebody thought was going to happen last year, and I immediately was like, yep, that's happening. And so that is a book that you want to see adapted. I thought Los Angeles, like that's where everybody goes to make their pitch, that kind of thing. Okay, my battery died. I swear this camera does not tell you when the battery is dying, because I checked when I turned this on and it said full battery, and then it was like, can you change or charge battery? Anyways, don't know where I was at, but we're in Los Angeles. The prompt is to read a book that you would like to see adapted. And I've given my patrons the chance, or the vote every single time, but there was a book that I really wanted to read for this, and it ended up working out perfectly because I was on Sci-Fi, and it's a book that I just recently hauled. So I'm reading The Circus Infinite by Con Wong, and the reason is because I'm obsessed with circus stories. Ever since reading The Night Circus back in 2018, I was obsessed with circus. I remember finishing The Night Circus, and that was a book that like I didn't read a lot of fantasy at the time, and I think even when I finished that book I was like, oh, it's only 4 stars, but it was just because like I didn't know what I you know what it was much more advanced than the contemporary romance that I was reading it previously. But I do remember specifically googling, does The Night Circus have a movie, because I needed more of it. And there was a lot of like discussion about like how it should be a movie. I don't remember if it ever like did get optioned. I don't know. I do think it would make a great movie. Because of that, I've always been on the hunt for more circus books. And that's why I picked this one up in the first place, because it kind of has a Night Circus vibe to it, but in space. And with people that have these magical abilities. Like our main character has the ability to kind of like change the gravity around somebody. Like that's his trick. And it's got like a found family aspect, and he's like on the run, and he finds this circus family because everybody else in the circus is kind of a freak too, as he says. And it's from a queer author. Our main character is Ace, and he's on like a highly sexualized planet. Like everybody uses, like everybody is using sex for pleasure, using sex for transactions. Like everything is very like highly sexually charged. And as an Ace person, he's like, I do not fit in. I think I've read, hold on, I'm gonna check, because I was listening to it on audio while I was working out this morning. Not working out, working in the yard this morning. Working out. I haven't been to the gym in a month and a half. I've read 3 chapters. These chapters are super long. It's a long book. It's dense, but I feel like there's a lot happening all at the beginning. So I'm hoping that the pacing continues. I know sometimes when you have a really fast-paced beginning, it really slogs in the middle, and so I'm worried about that. But I'm excited about this book. And so that is going to be my city book for Los Angeles. What could have been my city book, and why I said that this one would work for this prompt, is that Boozy Book Club is also reading Evocation by S.T. Gibson, so those are the sprints that start in a little over half an hour. This one also would work because it's a book that I would definitely, at least for me personally, I would love to see adapted. Anything from S.D. Gibson I would love to see adapted, let's be honest. But I kind of figured I should do a sci-fi book for being on Team Sci-Fi, so I'll just use this as a sightseeing book, which will also work. So anyways, that's my catch up for now. I need to go get ready for sprints because I look like a hot mess and I would like to not. So I will talk to you later. Hello, I look like a hot mess and the lighting is terrible in here. Let's see if this makes it better. Not really, but you know, maybe a little. It is 9 o'clock, a little after 9 on Sunday night. So the readathon officially ends in like 45 minutes. But I did finish The Circus Infinite today. I promise, even though I have my bookmark still in here, I finished it on audio. I'm giving this 3.5 stars. I think that it was good. I think this is a debut, and then it kind of makes sense. I like the representation in here. I think this has like really, really prominent Ace representation. Obviously, our character is Ace, and it talks about it a lot in terms of like being in a relationship with somebody and being in like having a romance with someone, like, but not being like sexual. It was a really interesting conversation. I do think, however, that it took over the story, like the actual tension of the story, the stakes, that like, because this has like life and death implications, but there were so many conversations about sexuality, about being Ace, which like I think we need, especially Ace representation, because you don't see that enough in books, specifically in sci-fi. It's not something you see very often. So I'm glad that there is that representation, but it took over the story a lot of times. I feel like because of that, we never saw the life and death stakes that this character was dealing with, was going through, because it slowed down too much. And I said this at the beginning, I was like, this started off so strong and so fast that I was afraid that in the middle it was going to drag a little bit, and it did. And it never really picked back up any, like, to the extent that it started at. So definitely had some pacing issues, but like I said, I think this is a debut, and that just comes with experience sometimes. So 3.5 stars. Not mad that I read it. It was a good way to end. I did also get past the 50% mark of evocation. I'm not going to be able to finish this in time to actually finish it, but I made it past 50%, so I can still submit it for a sightseeing book for Team Sci-Fi, and you know, finish out the readathon there. I'll just probably finish it up in the morning, but it won't be it'll probably still end up in my June wrap up because I don't want to wait a whole nother month to talk about it. Plus, it's the June book for Boozy Book Club. But this one is not going to be 5 stars. I can tell you that right now. First off, it's urban fantasy, like it's magical, but then the character starts talking about her Instagram feed, and I hate it when books do that, because it takes you out of the story and it like puts you into this real world scenario, and that's just not something that I'm like loving. I don't know, I just don't love it in books, and that's a personal preference. For me, that's not something that like most people have an issue with. I am liking the characters of this. I'm liking the discussions around queerness and around poly rep, because again, not something you see very much of in books, and we are always looking for good poly rep. I'm not hating the book by any stretch of the imagination, but her previous books have been 5 stars for me, and this one's not going to be. But anyways, I am going to close this out for tonight. I will come back when I have results of the readathon, so that you guys can know that. I'm also gonna have some fun like stats and stuff like that, how many books were submitted, because it's gonna be a lot. Hello, I unintentionally took a week off of filming, editing, putting videos out after the end of Amazing Readathon. I just stopped doing it. I'm back, kind of, sort of. I'm still very much like easing my way back into it because I don't want to burn out. That's definitely not something I want to do. But I feel like I'm on the edge of that, which is why this vlog is coming up a week later than what I had intended it to. And the first week of July, you didn't see anything from me, but that's okay. It's okay. We need to take a break sometimes. It's been a really busy week. We had the 4th of July. We had my niece's wedding. It's just been like a chaotic thing, and so I did not have the spoons to film or anything like that. So I'm filming the outro now. To not make this sound like a thank you speech at an award show, we're going to make this short and sweet, but I do want to thank every single one of you for participating in the Amazing Readathon. We had over 1,500 people, which is 3 times what we had for 2023's version. That's so many people. I think I've said that before, but 1,500 people, just like, that's so many people. We had almost 32,000 books submitted across all of the legs, sightseeing and face-off weekend, which is just absolutely insane. I think we broke Goodreads at some point. It was a great success. We are working on plans for 3.0 in 2025. June seemed to be like a really good month for it, but I can't promise anything yet. But it's hard because now I'm like, well, I have to one up this one, and it was just so chaotic that I don't know that I can, but we're going to try. But huge shout out, huge thank you to every single one of my hosts. I will have them all linked down below. They all have things going on. They all have things happening. And also, if you haven't already heard, which I don't know where you've been, but if you haven't and you want another competitive readathon happening in August, go check out Mel's announcement for Battleathon, and you have been recruited to Team Wings with Cassidy and I. It's going to be a great month. So if you want the chaos of a competitive readathon again, here you go. That's all I've got for you for the Amazing Readathon. It's a wrap on the Amazing Readathon. I'll go into depth a little bit more with my behind the scenes video for the top tier of my Patreon. That'll come out towards the end of July. It's going to be formatted a little bit differently than last year's was, for those of you that watched last year's, but it's going to be fun. It's going to have a bunch of stuff in it. A big congratulations to the general fiction team for winning everything. They were very much in the hunt the entire time, even though like they did lose a couple of legs, and I feel like they were getting a little bit disheartened, but when you looked at like the cumulative score, they were doing so well the entire time. And so huge congratulations to them. And romance came in second, Team Spooky came in third, sci-fi came in fourth, and fantasy came in fifth, but the points were so close across everybody. Like, it was anybody's game up until the last minute. That's a wrap on the Amazing Readathon 2024. We will see you again next year, but I'll also see you on my channel, and I'll see you in August for Battleathon. Let me know down in the comments below if you participated. Put your team emoji down there, and if you didn't participate and you don't feel chatty, you just put a globe emoji. That's all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Told you this was temporary.